Have you ever opened an investing app and you're like, whoa, look at all of the charts, look at all of the details, how do I even begin? Well, in this video today, I'm gonna take you step by step through the Webull investing app, exactly everything you need to know from getting started to buying stocks, selling, withdrawing, everything, all in this video. Now, I started with Webull 6 years ago now. I've been using it and I don't review products that I have not personally used. Here's my account in the beginning, a whopping $88. I think I transferred in like 60 bucks and then it grew to 88. But now today I'm up over $30,000. And I want to show you exactly everything you need to know to get started the right way with this awesome investing app. Now, to make life easier for you, in this YouTube video, there are chapters and you can hop around. You can hop back, you can hop forward to whatever part of the video serves you best based on what you're looking for. Let's not waste time. Let's get right to it. The very first thing we're going to do is how the heck do we open an account with Webull, and what's the deal with some of those questions and things that they make you do when you sign up? I'm going to answer all of it. If you click the link in the description below, by the way, you'll hop over and you'll see this particular website. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the promotions change constantly. So go check that out, see what promotion that they're offering, and then take advantage of that if you're able to. You simply click Get Started and you sign up with your phone number where it'll send you a verification code. Once you verify your phone number, you set a login password and it'll immediately take you over either to the Google Play Store or the App Store, depending on what cell phone service you use. And then you download the Webull Investing and Trading app. And then we get to the very first point that we need to look at. What type of an account do you want with Webull? Now, for the majority of the rest of this video, we're going to be talking about an individual taxable account, which means it's not an individual retirement account, as you see down below here. It's not a futures account, but it's up to you. There's all kinds of different account options. You can even set up something for your child as a custodial account to get them started with investing as well. There are many great options, and this app continues to expand and bring even more exciting things along the way that we'll go through a little bit later in the video. But I'm going to select individual account here, type in the legal name, gender, date of birth, citizenship, residential address, and then here's the one that trips everybody up. What is your social security number? And everybody's like, hold on a second. Why do you want to know that? Well, that's actually a law. They have to. In fact, any brokerage has to. It doesn't matter if you use Robinhood or Moomoo or Schwab or Fidelity. It doesn't matter what it is. They're all going to ask for that. And here's the reason why. You have to report any type of profit that you make, even any losses that you make, when you trade stocks and investments and ETFs and things like that. So in order to produce a tax return document for you, they need things like your social security number. Not only that, they want to make sure that they're protecting against fraud. So there is a part here where they ask you to also identify yourself, and that can be through either a passport, a country ID, or even a driver's license. So even though that might feel a little bit strange, they just want to make sure you're a legitimate person, you're not trying to be a scammer, and that you have everything set up correctly. Now, later in the video, I will share with you how to do the tax part of this every year with the Webull app. You're going to verify your email, you're going to type in some information about your employment status, your investment experience, and don't worry if you're a beginner, that's what this video is all about, and your financial status. Now, this final part right here is totally up to you. This is beyond just your account. This is what type of different things do you want added in? Do you want an options account? Do you want futures? Do you want crypto? Because this is a beginner's video, I am not going to cover options, futures, or crypto because that is a little bit more advanced. But if you do select them, they will either give you an additional account. For example, you get an additional crypto account, or they'll add in the options trading feature into your already opening account that you're currently working on. But again, we can save that for a little bit later. If you're interested in any of these options, let me know in the comments and I can come up with a beginner's or even an intermediate or advanced video for those type of options. Once you select those, or not select those, you just keep moving forward, and then it'll ask what type of taxable account you want. Now, this one's important to pause on for a minute. Margin or cash? I personally still use a cash account. I have used a margin account in the past, but here's something you need to know. A cash account basically means you're going to transfer money in from, let's say, maybe your checking account or your bank account, whatever that may be, and you're going to use that money to trade and buy stocks and things like that. A margin account means that you're going to not only maybe do that, but also use, which means borrow, which means loan from Webull extra money. Now that can be really cool for some traders that want to really move fast, use leverage and things like that. But at the same time, it can burn you, and it can burn you badly. Why? Because simply put, you could just get stuck and all of a sudden come up with something called an equity margin call, which means that the stocks went down, whereas you wanted them to go up, and now you owe extra money just to satisfy your account. If that all sounds confusing, you're going to want to choose a cash account. Here are the current margin rates, which means if you do borrow from Webull, borrow from the brokerage, here's how much you are going to be spending in interest, just like you do on any other loan. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to select cash account. You're going to then sign a final agreement, hit confirm, and then you're on your way. Now you might ask, is Webull available in my country? Well, here is a list of all of the different countries that are currently serviced by Webull, and I know that they always expand, especially they love expanding as soon as I do an update video. They're going to expand to something that I don't have listed up here. So in the pinned comment below, I will put, just expand it, I'll put all of the current countries that Webull is available to. Now, what you're looking at is my live Webull account. Nothing that you see today is financial advice to buy, hold, or sell. The reason I share this with people is because I want them to at least understand hands-on almost how this actually works. And if I show you a bunch of fake data, it doesn't really make sense. So I'm going to literally walk you through exactly how it works on my account. Now, let's start though with securing the account, because when you first open your account, you're probably going to have a total account value of $0 because you just opened the account. That's perfectly fine. What we want to do is make sure that we get things secured and that we set something up that I even haven't set up. I just realized as I was getting ready to record this video, I didn't set something very critical up. So I want to walk you through it and set it up with you in today's video. You'll see at the bottom, you have a bunch of options. I'll show you how to adjust that if yours looks a little bit different a little bit later in the video. You'll also notice something that says menu on the far side right over here, far right hand side. We're going to tap on menu and we're going to be right over here. Now, if you have any free stocks that are available to you as a result of signing up, especially if you use the link in the description below, that'll be located right here where it says My Rewards. You tap on that, you can get all of your stocks. It'll then move in to your brokerage account. But more importantly, we want to talk about how to set this up correctly. You want to tap on settings right in the middle here. See that? Tap on settings. And then what we want to do is tap on account and security at the very top. When we do that, there's a couple things I'd like you to really focus on. First, a passkey. That's something that you can do typically with your device. I have mine set up on my iOS. Authenticator. Right now it's not added, but that is something I'm going to be adding because I just realized I never did. An authenticator is a good way to make sure that you're doing an additional step so that nobody can jump into your account that you don't want inside your account. The next thing is we're going to back out of that, back to settings, and right below account and security, you see it says account management. This one I cannot believe I did not do yet, and I have to do this immediately. We're going to tap on that. And then right here, do you see where it says beneficiary information? Tap on that. And then if it shows exactly what mine shows right now, that's not great. We need to add a primary, and if you need to, a contingent beneficiary. Here's the key thing with this, everybody. Even if you have a will and all that other stuff set up, this makes life so much easier for the people that, unfortunately, if you pass away, they're still around and they get your money. This makes things so easy. I mean, the account will literally just transfer to them without any questions. It just makes life so much easier. So before you do anything, and that's why I'm doing this before we even transfer money into the bloody app, it's because it's so vital. Just tap add primary beneficiary. We're going to type in all of their information, their residential address, even their social security number, the relationship to you, and we're going to hit submit. Share percentage is also important because if you have kids, for example, that you want, let's say you have 3 kids or 4 kids or whatever it may be, and they each get 25% of that total amount, whatever that needs to be, make sure this is set up. If you don't do this, it's going to make life miserable for them, especially if you have a lot of money in here and it gets stuck in the probate process or whatever else. Just take the time to do it now. Let's move on to the next section of the video. The very first thing I want to do is just give you a quick overview of the Accounts tab. So at the bottom in the center, it'll say Account, looks like a little bit of a wallet. And right here is My Account. what you're looking at, first of all, net account value, once you start having money in here, will show up. That is the total amount. That is your worth. That's how much money I have in Webull. 35, 7, 8, and it's bouncing around because the market's open. So, when the market's open, it's up and down, it goes all over the place. So we'll call it $35,700. Days P&L means profit and loss. That means today, my account has grown $950-ish or 2.74%. That's a good day in the market. Trust me, if you're new to investing, there's going to be bad days in the market where this shows up red and it says you're down $900 on the day. That's just the nature of investing. The open P&L right here at the bottom. Now, this is your overall profit since you started investing with this particular account in Webull. So for mine, for example, I'm up $9,000 or 35%. So that's since the very beginning. Over here, it says market value, and you might be like, well, why does the market value show 34,000, whereas your net account value is 35? That's because I have $34,400 in the market and $1,273 in my cash balance. That means that cash balance, I can do a lot of things with that. I can withdraw it to my bank account if I want to and use that money to spend, or I could actually use that money and buy more stocks and ETFs. As far as unsettled cash and buying power, I'll get to that in just a minute because settled cash will change as I go through today's video with you live, and I want to talk through that as we get to those parts in the video. Now that we looked at the screen, the next thing is you're probably looking at a big fat zero and you're like, this is all great to look at yours, but how do I get money into mine? And that's the next step we're going to look at. And what makes it very easy here in Webull is right here in the middle, you see it says deposit right there. We're going to tap on that. Now, if for whatever reason it doesn't have deposit showing up there, here's what we need to do. Go over to the menu on the far right-hand side. We're going to tap on that. You're going to tap on right down below here where it says more in the center of the screen. You're going to scroll down right over here to where it says trading. Do you see it says both deposit and withdrawal? In this case, we're going to deposit money in, so we're going to tap on that. So no matter what, whether you do it in the center of the screen on the account, or if you can't find it there, through this way, this is how we're going to do it. Now, you're going to want to do from your bank account to the individual account here in Webull. I'm going to, for the purposes of today's video, transfer in $10. My checking account that I already have linked up, my schedule is going to be just once. Now, you can tap on that and do daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly if you want to. For example, if you get paid, let's say once a week, every week you want $10 coming out of your checking account right away when you get paid, you can select to do that. But in my case, I just want to do this one time. We're going to go down here to the bottom here and hit review. You can see your daily maximum is $200,000. If you're transferring $200,000, I'd like to be your friend. Just saying. I'm going to hit review. Now it's going to give you a final confirmation screen, just letting you know $10 is coming out. In this example, estimated arrival time is on 7:30, which is, as of the recording of this video, about 5 days away. We're actually entering into the weekend, so it's going to be delayed because obviously Saturday and Sunday, the bank goes to sleep, and we got to wait for that. But I'm going to hit submit. But look right here, it says instant buying power. Estimated time is in just a couple of minutes. So that means that I will have access to that money before it officially transfers from my bank account into Webull. This is a feature that they offer, so you don't have to sit here and wait, especially if it's a day like a Friday and you're like, oh, I really want to start investing today. I don't want to have to wait until the bank transfers the money in. You don't have to. The instant buying power will let you do that. So how do we buy stocks on Webull? Let's talk about it. First thing we want to do is look up what we're interested in buying in the first place. You can do that by coming down here to the watch list on the very far left-hand side. Another way to do it is over here in markets. Now, it's totally up to you what you're interested in looking at. You can look through whatever they have available here to kind of check out, but I personally like just doing the watch list. This is just kind of my go-to source. At the bottom here, you see that there is a search icon. And the search icon is important because that allows us to type in any type of company that we're interested in. And you can do it in one of two different ways. You can type it as a stock ticker symbol, which, for example, in Apple, it's AAPL. But if you're not familiar with the ticker symbols, you can actually do it a different way. Let's type in, for example, Microsoft. There it is. Microsoft Corporation, ticker symbol is MSFT. Doesn't matter however way that you prefer to do that. I'm actually going to select, it's actually right here under trending stocks, NVIDIA. I'm going to tap on that. And what we can see is a couple things here thanks to Webull. Now, remember, this is a beginner's video. Don't let any of this stuff overwhelm you. What I love about this particular investing app is that it grows with you, which means when you first start off, you just maybe can do the easy stuff. In fact, later in the video, I'm going to show you a way to make this very easy through Webull Lite. But right now, we're looking at the full-blown system. And all you have to do is what I'm about to show you. If you want to eventually learn more about the charts and how to interpret them, how to look at the order book right here, how to look at the tick-by-tick details, how to go over here and look at the company and understand the financials of the company, all of this is provided to you with Webull, which I love, that you can look through all this stuff and understand what the company is up to and decide for yourself if this is a good stock to buy or not. It's not one of those things where you're stuck on a beginner app, like there are some out there, and then you learn a lot, and then you're like, well, I'm stuck with this beginner app. I don't know how to look at it, and everything I look at online asks me to pay money to look at that service. Well, no, you get it all right here in the app with Webull. That's the beauty of it. So looking at NVIDIA, we do see that it's down a little bit today. So it's going for about $205, but down about 1.5%. If I go down here to trade, let's say we want to go ahead and buy. That's what you're going to want to push is the trade button. First thing it does is it pops up with how much do you want to buy. Of course, we're on the buy side, not the sell side, right? So we're going to buy, and there's different type of order types that you need to know about. For most beginners, it's perfectly fine to just do a market order. A market order means that you're just going to buy at whatever price it is when you hit the buy button. This is for people that want to hold for a very long time. They just want to buy, hold, and then eventually sell when they need that money for whatever they're saving up for, or maybe for retirement or whatever it may be. If you are interested in trading, there are a lot of other different options, such as a stop order, stop limit. There's a limit order. There's a limit plus take profit. That gets a little bit more intermediate and advanced. So for the purposes of today's video, I'm going to skip over those. We're going to select market order. Now, you can do two things here at this next stage. Quantity, which if I just start doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that means I'm buying 5 whole shares of NVIDIA. Now remember, it's going for a price of $205.70 per share. I plugged in that I want to buy 5, which take a look down here. That means the estimated total is a whopping $1,000 in order to buy NVIDIA. That is a little bit too much. Even though I have the money in my buying power, that's the cash that I transferred in, I don't know if I really want to spend most of it on 5 shares in NVIDIA. I really honestly wanted to only buy $20 worth of NVIDIA. And in that case, because I can't go down to 1 share because 1 share is still $205, all you have to do is tap on the USD or whatever it may say, CAD or whatever your currency is, but USD for where I'm from. And now it's asking, how much of dollars do you want to buy of NVIDIA? Now what I can do as a fractional share is type in my $20 that I want to buy of NVIDIA. That means my estimated shares will be 0.09713. And as NVIDIA as a whole goes up or goes down, my $20 will also go up or down as this stock moves over the many months and years ahead. Trading hours, we're just going to do regular hours because we're going to trade during the stock market open and time and force day. So if you're ready, you can see everything you got here. Make sure you have enough money in your buying power. In my case, I do. For my $20, once you're ready, down here at the bottom, you'll see the button that says buy. It'll pop up with this particular confirmation screen. Okay, everything looks good to me. Hit confirm. And guess what? We're now a proud owner of $20 of NVIDIA. Let's go take a look back here on the chart. Oh, there it is. Right there it is. See, $20. And you can see it's actually going slightly up enough to make me, I am so rich now. I earned an entire penny off of NVIDIA. But all jokes aside, it will adjust, go up, go down. If you tap on it, you can kind of see your position and where it's going. Now it's up 2 cents. The point is, leave it alone, let it grow, keep adding to it if you are trusting and enjoy this particular company. So whether you do fractional shares or whole shares is totally up to you and how much money you have to invest. If you don't have a lot, do the $20 like I just did. It just makes it a lot easier and it still gets you into the market with whatever money that you have available to invest and keep in there. Now, what if we want to add an ETF? Well, that's something we can certainly do, and we can follow the same exact process that we did for NVIDIA. So going over to the watch list and tapping on the search icon, once again, we're going to type in, my favorite is an S&P 500 fund, VOO. Now, the thing about ETFs that I really like is instead of just betting on one particular company, you're buying the entire basket of companies. So that way, if one of them goes south, you're not like going down with that one company. The S&P 500 buys into the top 500 companies in America, and it constantly adjusts as companies succeed or as companies fail. And that's what I like about things like VOO. But do your own research. There's things like a total stock market index fund. There's NASDAQ 100. There's all kinds of ETFs based on what works best for your particular investment journey. Now, in this case, VOO is expensive at $678. I do not plan on buying a full share of VOO either, but we're going to follow the same process here. We're going to do $20. Coming down here to the bottom, you see it says trade. We're going to tap on trade. And then I'm going to select a market order. And then I'm going to select USD. And we're going to do $20 of VOO. That means I'll have 0.02947 of VOO, and that'll be that. Once you're ready, you tap the buy button. It'll pop up with the confirmation screen. We hit confirm and order submitted and order filled. Now, if your order does not fill, that could be a couple reasons why. One, you don't have enough money right here in the cash balance. You notice it's going down. Why did it go down? Because I bought NVIDIA and I bought VOO. But it could mean that you have $0 and you're not on a margin account, so it's going to automatically fail. Put money in before you invest. Or the market is closed. If you're trying to invest on a weekend, or let's say it's like Monday night at 8 p.m., well, that's too late. The stock market is only open Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anything outside of that, if you're not trading on extended hours, will be an order failed. So just check that before you move forward. Now, if this is the first time you're seeing me here on the YouTube channel, I started investing $5 a day every single day that the stock market was open. And I started that back in January of 2022, all the way through present day. And if you want to learn more about that, I have all of those videos up on the channel. I'll link the latest one in the description below. But that's called a recurring investment, which means every single day you can recur your investment without having to come into the app and do all of that manual buying that we just did in the case of NVIDIA and in the case of VOO. So let's say, for example, we want to invest a couple dollars a day into NVIDIA instead of just coming in here manually doing it. Now, because I have a cash balance of $12.43, I can set up a recurring investment and just let it ride. So let me show you how to do that. We're going to go back to the watch list. We're going to type in NVIDIA, NVDA, right there it is. Tap on that. And we're not going to tap on trade. Instead, what we're going to do here at the bottom is go all the way over to those three dots on the right-hand side. You see that? We're going to tap on the three dots, and then it pops up with this particular menu. We're going to then select recurring investment. Once we tap on that, it then asks you for the details. Now check this out. Minimum of $1. You can invest $1 a day into NVIDIA if you wanted to. So I could do $1, fixed amount, frequency. Well, I don't want to do it $1 a week. I want to do it $1 every single day that the stock market is open. You can also do a dynamic amount, which is kind of cool. That's a little bit more advanced, but if it does kind of go down, go up, that will trigger certain buys. But for this, to make it easy, we're just going to do a fixed amount of $1, and it's all locked and ready to go. It will start on July 27th. Now, I can come back here, go back to the watch list. All right, so let's go back to the watch list. We're going to do another one. So let's say, for example, I also want to do Microsoft. Microsoft's actually having a bad year as of the recording of this video. Could be an interesting thing to do. Tap on the three dots, recurring investment, $1 a day into Microsoft. Now I'm investing $2 a day. And then I could do a third one, and a fourth one, and a fifth one, and a sixth one. You can do however you want to set this up. Then at any moment in your journey, you want to adjust it. Here's exactly how you do it. go over to the menu on the very bottom far right hand side. And then you want to go to trading under recurring. Tap on that. Then what you want to do is tap on my recurring investment. Once you tap on that, it'll take you over here. You can then adjust this or delete any particular trade. Oh, by the way, you're going to notice I already have one going. I've been investing $10 a day into SPMO. That's a new one that I'll be sharing on the channel a little bit later. So we talked about how to buy stocks. We talked about recurring investments. We talked about all that good stuff. How do you make money on Webull? That's a question I get a lot. How do I make money on this platform? Well, here's the thing that you need to know. It is nothing to do with Webull. It is nothing to do with Robinhood. It has nothing to do with any of the investment apps. It only has to do with the investments that you buy. It has nothing to do with the particular investing app. That app doesn't make you money or lose you money. Your investments do. So the most important thing to think about as you get started is to, number one, do your research. Number two, find the best stock or ETF that suits your investment timeline. And then number three, let it grow over time. I see so many people come in and they chase hot stocks that they either found on YouTube or somewhere online. They buy, it goes down, they freak out, they sell for a loss, and they think investment's a scam. That's the trap, really, is people fall for that. Instead, take it easy, take it slow. And let me show you exactly what I mean by actually giving you an example. If I come over to my account and I tap on Apple, take a look at my Apple account. It is up 51.7%. And the only reason it's up $9,000, which means I put in a total of $17,453. That's what total cost means right there. But the market value is $26,490. It's bouncing around a little bit, right? But if I sell right now, I get to have at least $26,000 that'll go into my particular account balance, which means I could transfer that money out into my bank account and use it to buy something. But that's the whole point, is I bought this over many years. If I come down here, look at this one, for example. I bought this particular trade back when the thing was only going for $177.75 on 8/25/2023. That's a big difference. So if you think about 2023, 175, look at what Apple's going for right now, $332. The point is buy, hold, keep adding, keep stacking, keep growing to achieve financial independence. That's the goal. That's the aim. If you have questions about it, I recommend subscribing to the channel because that's the kind of stuff I talk about right here on YouTube. One last setting that we must do before we move on to the next section of the video is enable something called drip. Unless you don't want it, but most people might. Drip means, and you can see I have it here on a lot of my accounts. See how it has that little drip icon? Drip means dividend reinvestment program. Companies pay dividends out of their profits, and they pass those dividends on to the shareholders, which are you and I. And they do that typically every quarter, if not every month. So what you want to do is make sure that it reinvests back into the fund. So for example, when Apple pays its next dividend, not a whole lot of money, but it's a little bit, it's going to buy additional shares of Apple for me. And I don't have to lift a finger. Otherwise, what it would do is it would take that dividend and throw it into my cash balance. Now, of course, I could live off of that dividend if I wanted to, if I had enough shares to live off the dividend, but I'd rather just keep stacking and growing. It's called the dividend snowball. You keep letting it grow. Here is how you turn this feature on in Webull. We're going to go back to our favorite, the menu on the far right-hand side. Tap on that. Then after we tap on menu, then you're going to tap on settings in the middle of the screen right there. Tap on settings, and then we're going to tap on account management, which is the second option down. When we do that, we're going to then come down here to where it says dividend reinvestment program. Do you see that right there at the bottom? Tap on that, and now it's going to take us over and either show us if we are active or inactive with drip. It will ask you to apply for drip the very first time that you do this. That is nothing special. You just said, yeah, I want to turn on dividend reinvestment. It'll take a minute or two. They'll send you an email saying, congratulations, you're now set up for drip. It's just turning on a feature, guys. I'm not going to oversell it, but that is an important thing. Look at that. Dividend reinvestment value, and that's actually calculated an estimate on everything that I own, about $300.75. Not bad. I'll take it. But now that we learn to buy and grow and we have some profit, there are times that we might want to sell and withdraw some of that money. So let's talk through it. When you go to sell anything, you're going to want to go to your positions right here on the bottom under your account details. I'm going to use, for the example of today's video, I'm actually going to sell this. This is going to be a big sale for me. MasterCard, ticker symbol MA. Do you see that located right here? Let me walk you through what all of these numbers mean. $282.80. It's bouncing around again a little bit, but that is how much money the market value of MasterCard is for me. If I sell right now, I should expect to get right around $282. The number underneath there, 0.5257, that's how many shares I own of that particular stock or ETF. In this case, I have fractional shares of 0.5257. The open P&L is how much money I've earned since I initially bought this. So I'm up 8.86% or 22-ish dollars. Then on the very far right-hand side, you'll see it says 538.11, and underneath it, it says 494.41. Now, the difference with that is it's showing you what your initial purchase was or your dollar average. That is how much you purchased MasterCard in my example for $494. As long as MasterCard is now trading above that number, you're typically going to be in the profit. In my case, I am at $538.24. We can continue to scroll over, and I'll let you also know what the day P&L is. So it's even up 1.49% on today as of the recording of this video. Now, to sell this, we're going to get $282. First thing I want to do is look up here. And I want you to study these numbers. Cash balance, $1243. Settled cash, $1243. I think my $10 deposit is going to take another 30 minutes to come through according to that confirmation screen. So we won't worry about that for now. We're going to worry about this number changing once I sell MasterCard. So remember this, $1243.02. Come on down here. We're going to tap on MasterCard. And then simply put, at the very bottom, right down here, it says sell to close. We're going to tap on sell to close. And then it's going to feel very similar to buying. It's just the reverse of that, selling. You can sell for a limit if you want, or you can just do, especially if you're a beginner, just do a market order. If we wanted to sell a fraction, we could by just clicking on USD. And let's say I want to only sell $10 of my value of Microsoft. You're welcome to do that. But in this case, I'm going to sell everything. All right, so estimated total will be $283, give or take. The market does fluctuate sometimes quickly when you go to sell. That's something to keep in mind. That has nothing to do with Webull. That's just the stock market, and you're playing the game of the stock market. We're going to hit sell. That was actually a great example of the market fluctuating as I was going to sell. And that's also why you sometimes want to do a limit trade, because a limit trade would say, I only want to sell it if I make $283. I don't want it dropping to 282 when I go to hit the sell button. But because we selected market order, that's why it is what it is. But let's hop back to the screen. Now, here's the example that I was talking about a little bit earlier in the video. Take a look here. Cash balance, $1525.95. But look at this. Settled cash, $1243.02. Unsettled cash, $282.93. What's the deal with that? Well, that is because it takes a couple days for the sale of your stock to officially go through. And that is the same for an ETF as well. So it's one of those things that it'll take a little bit of time for that $282.93 to become settled cash. At which point, when you see $283 back into settled cash, then you can withdraw it to your bank account. And that's just an important thing to know. A lot of times somebody will sell and immediately think, hey, I sold like $10. Why can't I transfer that $10 out into my bank account? Well, it's because it's not settled yet. Give it a couple days and then you can transfer it out. But let's talk about how to take money out. Now, because I have a settled cash of $1243, I could withdraw all of that amount if I wanted to. And here's how you do that. When the time comes that you want to transfer money out of your account, there's actually a couple ways you can do it. The first one is actually right here at the top. You see it says transfers. We can actually tap on that. We can hit transfer money. And what we're going to want to do is select our bank account, but we don't want to go from the bank account to Webull. We want to hit that button in the middle. We want to take it from Webull to our bank account. Now you can see at the bottom here, it's telling me I can withdraw $1,233 if I want to, but you can do up to that amount. So even if I just want to do, let's say $10 from my Webull into my checking account, I can absolutely do that. I could do 100. I can do anything I want up to that 1233. Let's say we want to do $1,200 and leave only $33 left in that particular cash balance. I can do that, hit review, and then I hit submit if I want to. Then it'll give you a final confirmation screen. You can hit submit, and then it takes usually about 2 days, 2 business days to show up in your particular bank. It does all depend on your bank account though. Sometimes banks take a little bit longer to process than others. Mine tends to be on point, so within 2 days, it shows up as a deposit in my particular checking account. Now, one question I get a lot is, wait a second, why can't I come over here, in my case, in my example, why can't I just cash out my $35,000 that shows up right here? Well, in order to do that, we would have to go through and actually sell all of these positions, all 13 of these positions I have, wait for the unsettled cash to move into settled cash, and then we can transfer that cash out. But there has to be a really good reason to want to do that, because at the end of the day, if you're building wealth, if you're building up to financial independence, you don't want to just sell everything and cash it out. But anytime that you want to, always make sure that you sell, wait for unsettled to go into settled, and then you can transfer out. Now, you might ask, well, okay, I want to challenge you. Why not sell everything right now, take your $9,000 in profit, and call it a good day? Well, because I'm going to get hit with a tax bill on that. Because this is just an individual account, it's not a retirement account, I am subject to taxes, which means we're talking about $9,000 in a potential tax bill. And that brings us to the next section of our video. How do taxes work with Webull? It's actually very easy. Now, all jokes aside about selling my account, there's going to be times that you're going to have tax events anyway. For example, dividends are taxable even if you do the DRIP plan. So even if it's reinvested, it is still a taxable event. So you're going to have to report that on your yearly taxes. Doesn't matter what brokerage you use, that's just the way it works. But if I do sell at a profit, for example, that MasterCard sale that we just did a little bit earlier in the video, that, because it was profitable, will be a taxable event. And here's how you do it. You come over here to menu at the very bottom right-hand side. If you haven't figured it out, menu takes you a lot of different places here in Webull. But bottom right-hand side, there's the menu, and we're going to select more. We're going to come down to the bottom where it says account and it says tax document. Tap on that. Now, when you first get started, it will not show a tax document until you officially have a tax document to be displayed. So it may take an entire year depending on what time of the year you sign up. But every year, right around January, February, they will institute your next tax document reflecting the prior year that we just finished. So the latest one I have available to me is 2025. And I want to point out something very specific. Look at this. Form 1099 DIV. That is the dividends that I mentioned earlier. I had a total of 2863 of total ordinary dividends, which are classified as qualified dividends. The best part about all of this is that you can just go through and submit this to either your tax person or into TurboTax or H&R Block or whatever one that you use. The beauty of it is all of this stuff will automatically download into one of those tax apps and do all the dirty work for you. Or if you have a CPA or an accountant, they'll do all the dirty work for you. But it's as simple as going into the tax center that we just looked at, under the menu, under the account, and then you'll get it and you're on your way. If you want to be certain that you're not going to be hit with a huge tax bill, so for example, I'm in the year 2026 right now as of the recording of this video. If, for example, I don't want to hit with a big tax bill and I want to take a look and say, oh my gosh, did I sell too much? Did I make too many dividends? How do I plan for my tax bill? All you have to do is come up to your P&L. What we want to do is tap on P&L. And then you're going to want to tap on symbol P&L. And what I like to do is make sure that this is toggled to year to date. That'll be in the current year that you're in right now. Then what we want to do is look at this column right here, realized P&L. Now, this is important because you're going to notice that I made $229 in Apple on realized P&L, $4 on SCHD, $23 on MasterCard, over $122 on Lumen. All of that is a potentially taxable event. So you can add all that up if you want, take a look at it and see what that might do for your tax planning, especially if you're managing your taxes. This is a great thing to share with your CPA. Now, there's two important things that I want to share with you that you need to understand if you're getting involved in Webull. First one is, okay, this was all great. We're now at this part in the video, and my gosh, it's still a little bit too complicated looking. I'm going to show you something really cool that they just rolled out that is just absolutely awesome. What we want to do, if you're in this particular account with me, come over to menu. And here we are in menu, but instead of going to the shortcuts like we always do, we're going to come up here to the very top right-hand side. You see where it says Lite? All you need to do is tap on that. If we tap on Lite, it's going to say, what is it? It's a very simple way to use Webull. It's actually an exciting way to use it, especially if you're starting out. So as a beginner, if what I shared with you was maybe not that helpful and you think it's still too complicated, do this. Switch to Lite. Take a look at this, and you can switch back and forth as much as you want. Another great feature about Webull, it'll grow with you. Take a look at this. Now we're on the Lite account. Still got my $35,000, still up 2.75% today. Still got my cash balance of $1525. Everything looks good, and here are my 13 positions. Now this one is organized by most recent purchase to the oldest purchase, right? But look at that, VOO. There's that VOO that we purchased earlier. There's that NVIDIA. Hey, I'm up 9 cents on NVIDIA. I earned 9 cents while sitting here doing this video. That's pretty cool. But look how simplistic this looks. It just makes life so much easier. At the very bottom, you only have 4 options on the menu bar. You have the screen, you got this right here, which is your cash management. You have this, which is a planning center with a little AI bot that you can use. You even have your menu screen that is just so much more easier to look at. Look at this. Now you got your account management, your settings, everything just shows up here without having to hop all of those other different steps that we did a little bit earlier. And look at this even. You hit trade down here at the bottom. Let's say, for example, we want to trade some Starbucks. Look at this. How much do you want in either a share or you tap on that in dollars? I want to buy $2 of Starbucks at a market price of $103. There's your estimated share. You just simply hit review buy order. And there you go. I could buy, I'm not actually going to do it on this one, but I could buy $2 of Starbucks. And that is really kind of cool. I love this version of Webull. Now, in order to switch back, once you're ready to level up and go back to the trading app, go to the little menu icon on the bottom right-hand side, which is that little stick figure person, and then just tap on the Lite button once again. It'll show you, here's where you're going back to. We're going to hit explore more. And there we are. We're going to reverse back to everything that I just shared with you throughout the course of today's video. Now, there's other ways that you can customize your Webull account, not only through the Lite or the full version, but if we go to the menu screen at the bottom right-hand side and we click on settings, look down here at the bottom, it says theme. If you tap on theme, you can change it to either dark mode or to black mode. It's totally your call. I know a lot of people like dark mode over the bright mode, over the black mode, whatever. It's totally your call. I'll leave it in black mode for now, just so we can continue to go on here. And then you can also look at the navigation settings. Now, this is an important part. Do you remember all of those buttons at the bottom? Yours may look different than mine, and it's because of maybe how you have the navigation settings set up. So if you come into this particular section, you can move these things around. If I want markets first and then watch list, I just tap on that. Or if I want watch list over markets, I can do that. You can totally customize the app for whatever works best for you. Have a look at what it looks like in dark mode. There we go. My goal is to help people become comfortable with trading and investing on some of my favorite brokerage apps. And if I didn't answer all of your questions, drop them down below. I'll make separate videos, such as what about Webull Premium? What about trading options on Webull? How do I do that kind of stuff? If you're interested in those type of videos, let me know and I'll keep making them, and I'll link this video to them so you can continue your journey. So get started with Webull today. Link is in the description below. Your financial adventure continues by checking out this video next. Keep building your Sharpe money, and I'll see you on the next video.